to get plenty of heat. Oh, hi, kitty. Oh, you're a little angel. Hi there. Welcome back to You Can Create Art. This is a level 3. Joining us today, we got Micestro. Cutest little kitty. Hopefully he stays right there and doesn't get himself in the middle of everything. This level 3 is in keeping with our wax theme this week. We're going to attempt to make a easy do-it-yourself batik effect. Now, batik is originally an Indonesian form of dyeing fabric with wax resist. Now, if you want to do it the real way, you need to melt some paraffin wax and then use this special tool to apply it to a cotton fabric, and then use organic dyes such as turmeric and beetroot and all of these things to dye your fabric, and then you remove the wax and it leads you to a really cool looking effect.
Okay, that's cool.
But I'm trying to go simple here. So I'm kind of experimenting with some ways to apply the wax and still get the effect that we want. So if this works, then you'll get to see the final product. If this doesn't work, then you'll never see this finish because I'll try something else. I have already tried applying wax via crayon straight to the fabric and then trying to dye the fabric that way, but with even homemade fabric dye. But the problem therein is that most fabric dyes require you use hot water for the color to set. Well, when you put hot water on wax, the wax is removed. That didn't work. Now I'm trying a different method of applying the wax via a crayon, so we don't have to worry about getting paraffin and a paraffin melter and a paraffin melting wax applicator. All of that's kind of messy, and I don't want to have to go out and buy a bunch of specialized equipment for something I might do only one time. So here's what I am trying. Let me show you what I'm using. First of all, I have a hot iron over here, ready to go. I've got this bandana that I got at the hobby store. It's just a cotton bandana. I've already washed it, kind of ironed it, not perfectly, but pre-washed, ready to go. And cotton is going to work best for this because it'll absorb the color better. And I've already got part of this going just for time's sake. I am using crayon. And I am using some sandpaper. So I have this 60 grit right here, sandpaper. It's real toothy, real gritty. The same sandpaper I used in our level 2. And I'm using sandpaper to apply the wax because I need the wax to really be built up, okay, before I apply it to the fabric. And the way that sandpaper helps with that is it pulls the wax off of your crayon and just kind of clumps up on the sandpaper. And we'll see if that works. So I started out with white, but listen, this is the remnants of 2 white crayons. And I'm not even done yet with all of my fabric. This method will wear down your crayons. So I've shifted over then to this kind of peach color because it's light enough. What I don't want to do is inadvertently stain the fabric where I intend for no color to be, for the wax resist to be in place. But we'll see. Like I said, I'm kind of experimenting here. So what I did to begin with, off camera, is I created a very basic design that I want to repeat. And I put the white crayon on here and I color, and then I ironed it face down onto my fabric. And I'm just going to go through and really go over it several times. I want the sandpaper to grab that wax and collect it on the sandpaper. Now the design I picked is just fairly simple. The original batik, the Indonesian batik, does have a tribal sense to it. I feel like it is lots of patterns and kind of crude imagery. You're not going to get a ton of detail just because of the nature of the art. So I wanted to kind of stay true to that and that I didn't want anything super detailed. And you know, with the sandpaper, you're not going to get lots of detail anyway. Look at this. I've already ground half of this little stub. Oof, that was my finger. That is not a happy feeling. Yes, be warned. The sandpaper will ruin your nails. Luckily for me, as you can see, I'm not a manicure kind of person. My sport would ruin them. Okay. So I'm filling in here. My sport is kickboxing and jiu-jitsu, by the way. In case you're wondering, what sport ruins nails? Well, plenty of them, including kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. Also explains the bruising that you might see from time to time. I promise I'm fine. I just like to do contact sports. Okay, I think I've got this whole design covered, but I want to go over every part one more time just to get it real nice and waxy. I don't know how well you can see the wax built up here. It looks like it's wearing a sweater and it's fuzzy. That's good. Okay, now, and I want this part in the middle. So, I guess I'll turn the right way. Oh, it is dropping the wax clip all over this thing. All right, make sure we are on. And I've got parchment paper underneath my fabric as well because it's thin. And if the wax goes through, I don't want it to stick to anything. So just kind of walk you through my layers here. Parchment paper, sandpaper with the wax, cotton bandana, another layer of parchment paper. And this is one of those drawing boards that I had left over from school when I was in art classes. Here we go. I'm going to make sure I don't have any wax shavings on the back of this because that'll ruin my iron. Then I take my nice hot iron. It's set on the cotton setting, so nice high heat. And I'm just going to slowly apply even pressure because what I don't want to end up doing accidentally is scooting my sandpaper because that could jack up my design. What I'm trying to do is melt as much of the wax from the crayon onto my fabric as I can. Because that's what we're hoping will resist the next step, which is applying color to the fabric. Let's peel this up and see how we did. All right, that seemed to have worked successfully. You can see the wax is there, all this peach color is the wax. Alrighty, now it's time to apply some color. For color application, we've got a couple of different options we can try. I did try some make-it-yourself fabric dyes in my first attempt at this that we will not talk about. I tried a mixture of vinegar and water with food coloring, hot, which just lifted the wax right off. So I tried a tea stain, didn't really work. Added some turmeric to that, and dang, turmeric is a really strong dye. Didn't need a whole lot to make it a nice bright yellow, but you know, in the hot water, it pulled the wax off. I tried it with cold water and vinegar. Vinegar is supposed to help keep the color, and it was great until I went to rinse it, and then the color was gone. So here's what I'm going to do. I have seen in some kind of DIY batik tutorials that I have watched when researching that you could use watercolor or watered down acrylic for this. I'm going to use watercolor. I'm not trying to be super detailed here. I just want to apply color to my fabric. I'm just going to start. Well, so far so good. It looks like it's resisting that wax. Just kind of make it almost like a color wash. I don't want it to be super saturated. I know the color will apply, but where I'm not sure is what will happen if I were to rinse this. And that's okay. I'm keeping that in mind. I'm being flexible and recognizing that art is a process. The product is just a blessing. because I can already kind of see where the waxy area, even though the wax might have bled a little bit, is not taking the water. So I have a good feeling that this technique might be the winner. It just might be. So I'm going to go ahead and color these two sides the same as these two, but on opposite corners. Okay, so I've covered the whole thing with watercolor. And then I went through this space in the middle with black. I'm not sure black was the best choice, but there it is. Here's the cat. Say hello. Hello, Micestro. Being a good boy, just sitting there. All right, now all we need to do is wait for the watercolor to dry, and then we will do the final step to see if this actually worked. See you soon. Okay, now my fabric is dry. I'm ready to see if I can lift the wax off. I'm really excited. I hope this works. My iron is nice and hot now. Again, on the cotton setting. Making sure I don't get my cat's tail under the iron. I'm just going to apply even pressure, kind of holding the iron down for a handful of seconds as I slowly move. And this is going to heat up the wax underneath and melt it and hopefully lift it off the fabric. Lift all the wax off. Yep, I can see it lifting right here where it looks greasy. I can smell the wax. Sure, you can sit down right on my keyboard. Meow. Let's not put you here. It's hot up here, but you can say hello. Meow. Oh. Cute little kitty. Hi. Hi, sweet little kitty. Hi, sweet kitty. Gotta put you down though, okay? Somewhere safe. Let's see if that's working. Well, a little bit. Ooh, yeah, I think I got all of it off of this side.
So it turns out I hadn't recorded any of this last part from above. Oops. So pardon my frankenclips as I try to fake my way through the final steps of this project. As a consolation, enjoy my cat.
You can kind of feel where it feels smooth. If it still feels bumpy, there may still be some wax there, and just get a fresh piece of newspaper or construction paper to soak up the wax. You don't want to use the same one because then you'll just remelt the wax onto your fabric. And I like the way this turned out. I think Micestro likes it too. We've got, you can see the shape here where the white crayon was. I like the white crayon effect right here much better than the orange crayon, only because the peach crayon, it doesn't really, you can see the peach, but you can't see the white underneath. And that was the idea, was that the water would be resistant from the wax. But, you know, sometimes things don't turn out the way you plan. So I'm just kind of brushing off any little wax bits. The back side's pretty cool, where I put the peach one, because the water did resist. Wherever I melted it initially, it kind of got this grease spot, I guess, for lack of a better word, and that resisted the water better on the back side than it did on the front side. But overall, I like the way it looks. I'm pleased with the results. It's not, it doesn't look authentically like a batik, but it's not. It is a do-it-yourself home batik with simple to obtain materials that don't break the budget. There you have it, a cool batik effect using wax resist. And I hope you enjoyed this and tune in to see what we're up to next. Thanks for watching. Say bye, Micestro.